growing a business in today's competitive environment requires innovative thinking and strategic planning.
So I decided to do it on my own and leave the traditional salon structure. So when doing that, I joined a few forums online that, offered advice for small businesses, how to grow and things like that. And I discovered somebody that was, speaking about Shopify.
Building a compelling brand strategy is like setting the stage for a great performance because it really captures attention and leaves a memorable impact.
So I think that the key to maintaining that consistency as you start to grow, and especially if you're looking to retain, is listen to your customers. Listen to what they're telling you, take their feedback, and iterate on that as quickly as possible.
Growth and retention are two sides of the same coin. Each is vital for the sustainability of your business. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Retail Rose presented by Canadian SME. I'm your host, Maheen, and we're back again with another engaging episode. Today, we're delving into personalization, brand strategy, development, and growth retention strategies. We're thrilled to have Rich Matukaitis, a seasoned expert in e-commerce, content marketing, customer experience, and brand development. As a professional dedicated to creating memorable experiences and tailoring solutions for business growth, Rich has shaped numerous businesses transform their ideas into successful strategies. And with the personal motto of no grit, no pearl, Rich embodies the perseverance needed to thrive in today's competitive market. So when he's not elevating brands, you might find him at a concert, in the kitchen, or planning his next travel adventure. Join us as we dive into Rich's world of innovation, business solutions, and learn how personalization can really redefine customer engagement. Good afternoon, Rich, and welcome back to Retail Roast. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well, and it's quite a pleasure to have you back with us. And we're quite eager to learn from your experiences and your insights about how you push boundaries to help businesses engage with their audiences. And we would love to delve deeper into the personalization and the brand strategy aspects of our conversation today. And to begin things with, could you explain a bit more about the work that you do and the inspiration and motivation behind finding Rebuy Engine?
Yeah. So definitely a nonlinear journey for me. I started practicing as a hairstylist by trade. I've been a hairstylist for 14 years. And with that, that's essentially like running your own small business in and of itself. The branding, the marketing, the retention, all of that was kind of wrapped up into, what I was doing behind the chair. But I really had a hard time because I was so passionate about it. I found like I had to compromise a few things in order to, find the right salon, find the right people to work with. So I decided to do it on my own and leave the traditional salon structure. So when doing that, I joined a few forums online that, offered advice for small businesses, how to grow and things like that. And I discovered somebody that was, speaking about Shopify. And I had never heard about Shopify in my life, but it sounded pretty promising. He was getting a MacBook sent in the mail, talking to other business owners, like, what is this all about? So I connected with him and he gave me, the scoop on that. And I was immediately intrigued by this, if not to work for them, but to help me grow my business. So yeah, I ended up going through the interview process, joined Shopify, and was there for about 4 years, starting in a support role, working my way through the organization and then ending up on part of their sales team. So I love this conversation because as I left Shopify, the product that I was selling was their point of sale retail software and hardware, but this was right in the middle of the pandemic. So there wasn't a lot of businesses that were looking to upgrade or do anything like that. So it was quite the challenge, but it really set me up for success. And from there, after about 4 years at Shopify, I was ready to just kind of spread my wings a little bit. It felt like graduating university almost. So I was with a company in between Rebuy, but discovered Rebuy because a few of my former colleagues were there and I just loved everything that the brand was about, or the product or the platform was about. Now here I am almost 2 years later and I love every second of it.
We love the inspiration and motivation behind you finding your career path. And it's great because your insights really clarify how effective personalization can really foster meaningful ways to understand who your customers are. And then, to create meaningful connections in that way to succeed in your ventures, which is great. But Rich, from your experiences, what are some common mistakes companies make when they're trying to personalize their customer interactions?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that, it's not necessarily the mistakes that they're making, it's the mistakes that they're not making. I think that a lot of people play it safe with regards to, how can I offer a unique experience online? Strategies like just calling somebody by their name, right, is not as effective as it once was because, with this kind of, I want to say like the death of retail as we knew it pre-pandemic, everyone flocked to get everything online. So now, you've got a reach that expands globally. You've got, a customer base that isn't just in your immediate town. So you really have to get creative with how you can stand out from these things. So I think that a lot of brands are now realizing the impact of not doing it sooner. So enter products like Rebuy and other platforms that essentially make this process a little bit easier through, intelligent recommendations, smarter product surfacing and discovery processes. And then also just allowing you to carry that brand identity into not just your online store, but anywhere that your customers are shopping.
No, it's
So
great.
yeah, that approach I think is super important.
As Rich beautifully highlighted, personalization is more than just a marketing tactic. It's about creating a connection with each customer. Let's think about how are you making your customers feel special and valued. I really encourage you all to think about the ways that you can leverage more personalized experiences into your business. Perhaps there is an innovation approach you haven't tried yet. It's through these shared experiences that we can all learn and grow. No, the approach is correct because a strong brand identity or strategy is very foundational for any business that is looking to make a lasting impact in the
100%.
market, right? But what are the key components of a successful brand development strategy?
Well, I think knowing what your brand is, first and foremost. I think that it's very easy to get lost when you are so zoomed into what you're doing. It's very easy to say, okay, well, this brand's doing this brand's doing this. You can kind of lose focus about what the ethos of your brand originated as. And I think that now as we get into this age where, we've got influencers and all of these other mediums in terms of how we get products in front of people, it's never been more important to make sure that you are rooted in that brand, because I feel like that is ultimately what people are buying. We can get products anywhere. We can get products on Amazon. We can get products at Walmart. But people want to buy from other people. So when you align yourself with, whether it's the people that you employ, whether it's the, decor in your store, all of those things should be reflective of the brand ethos. So I think the first component is just figuring out, what is that brand? What is it that I'm trying to solve for people? What message am I trying to send? What am I doing to give back beyond just our company and our customers? How can I make this a global, initiative, effort? So yeah, really fleshing those things out. And I would say starting there before you dive in, because that should be the thing that is like your foundation. That should be, it can evolve, but the root of it should always remain the same, more or less.
We love that. And on that note, we'd love to hear an example.
Yeah.
Where a well-executed brand strategy really led to a tangible business growth.
100%. Well, if you think about products, like some of the companies that I've worked with that have just found their way, not necessarily to become household names, but they've gotten the loyalty of the customers that they work with. So there's a couple of brands in particular. One is Ollie. If you've seen them, they're like chewable vitamins that you can get in the store. But again, in a sea of all of these same products on a shelf, right, what can we do to offer a unique experience when it's just that standalone product? So that boils down to the experience that you offer, the purchase process, the shipping, all of that. So brands like Ollie, there's another food brand that I work with, Imi Eats. They're basically like a healthy, protein, robust ramen noodle company, as if ramen noodle could be reinvented, but they found a way to do it. And, they create this experience that just feels cool. You want to buy the product. And if you haven't tried it, you want to try it. So yeah, I think well-executed strategy can be done in a number of different ways, but I think understanding your vertical is very important. It's one thing to, create a product that you think is good, but that bias can sometimes get in the way of like, what does the market want? What do people want? So yeah, the well-executed strategy has to go beyond just the idea that you have and involve the people that you're selling to. So yeah, a number of different brands that I can name as well, but those are the top two that I think of. Because again, when we think of consumable products, think of a grocery store, like thousands and thousands of products. Like, how do you set yourself apart? And I think it really boils down to, again, that brand identity, the quality of your product, and, the way that you deliver that product to the market. So whether it's on, social media platforms, I don't even want to say grocery stores. That's definitely one route, but it's the unobvious ones that I think make the biggest impact for sure.
Well, these examples and your experiences, they really highlight the transformative power of a well-crafted brand strategy that not only, I think, captures the right audience, but also retains and helps them stay. I think builds up, I would say, loyalty and interest
100%.
in them as well. Building a compelling brand strategy is like setting the stage for a great performance because it really captures attention and leaves a memorable impact. Rich's insights serve as a reminder of how crucial a coherent brand strategy is for business success. So think about if you have a story about how your brand strategy evolved or a tip that might help others in their branding journey. This is a perfect moment to exchange ideas and stories about what has worked and what hasn't as we navigate the complex world of brand building together.
Yeah.
But let's talk about strategies for business growth and retention a bit more. Let's dive into this topic a bit more. Now, growing a business in today's competitive environment requires innovative thinking and strategic planning. Rich, for brands looking to expand, what growth strategies do you recommend? And we have such things going on as subscriptions per se, and email marketing as well. So what's your take on this?
So first and foremost, actually, this is a really great point. I was at a conference in New York last week, and one of the questions was, when you were a small business, what would you have started when you started to expand your team? Who's the first person that you would have hired? And his response was customer support. So I think that the key to maintaining that consistency as you start to grow, and especially if you're looking to retain, is listen to your customers. Listen to what they're telling you. Take their feedback and iterate on that as quickly as possible. So, forget about trying to grow. If you can't deliver your product in a consistent way, and that goes right through to, the return process, frequently asked questions. How easy is it for somebody to get in touch with you to find more information? How much is shipping going to cost? I think that these are all the first step in getting somebody to convert as a customer.
Right.
And then retention boils down to so many things. The quality of the product, how easy is it for me to reorder this product? And again, things like shipping and stuff like that. So to your point, with things like subscriptions, I think that that's the obvious one. Everybody wants somebody to subscribe to their product. But if you've never tried the product before, I think this is definitely where in-person retail kind of takes the cake with things like makeup and, food products or, clothing sometimes. We want to touch it. We want to try it. We want to smell it if it's a fragrance before we buy it, right? So how do we get people to subscribe? Well, we reduce that barrier to entry. So perhaps what we do is, for a first-time customer, we give them like an intro offer that at least incentivizes them to at least get those products into their hands. Then we can worry about, okay, now how do we replenish that product? So a lot of brands like Ollie, for example, they found enormous success with Rebuy Engine because what they were doing initially was they built out this product to help handle their subscription model, but it was very robust. It was very heavy to maintain. And they switched over to Rebuy, which helped them automate this. And one of the products that we offer is within one of our hero products, the Smart Cart, which is a traditional kind of like slide out cart that you see. We basically have turned the regular cart into almost like a sales associate online. We've got the incentivization to show you how much you have to spend to get to free shipping. We're recommending products that are tailored based on what you're adding into the cart. But then also as we add in certain products, and it doesn't have to be all of your products, but if you are offering subscriptions, somebody adds it into their cart, and right underneath that, there's a drop down that offers them to switch to subscription and save a bit of money.
Right.
So that's definitely one strategy as well. Things like buy more, save more also. So it's like if you buy 2, we can save 5%. If you buy 3, you can save 10%. So it's more so just about, first of all, building trust. You know what I mean? So let's get the product into the hands of the customer. If you're confident that your product is, exactly as great as you think it is, or it's going to be as well received, then they will come back. Like they will come back. I mean, it's not going to be the same story for everyone, but, a subscription model is definitely a great way to, streamline the process of something that we've become so accustomed to now. I mean, again, with the pandemic, everything was getting delivered to our house, right?
True.
Groceries, food, school was like everything was just kind of being handled in home. So it's not so much that this is a new concept anymore, but again, why subscribe to your product over subscribing to their product? So this goes all the way back to that brand identity and the experience that you provide. But yeah, subscription model is one way to retain for sure. But again, I think it's just the experience overall that's going to create that long lifetime customer.
Such great actionable strategies
There
to
it
not
is.
just to survive, but also thrive in this competitive marketplace.
Sure.
Growth and retention are two sides of the same coin. Each is vital for the sustainability of your business. Rich shared some fantastic strategies on balancing the need to attract new customers while also keeping the existing ones engaged. How do you approach this balance in your business? Or are there any specific tools or tactics that have shaped or helped you grow while maintaining a loyal customer base? Sharing these strategies can help eliminate paths that other business owners might not have considered. So let's build a richer community by sharing our knowledge and experiences. But great point made about talking about sales. It's important to choose the right sales channel, right? Because, choosing the right sales channel is so pivotal.
Yeah.
First, to reach the right audience, and second, to maximize revenue.
Totally.
Rich, what are the best channels for businesses to sell their products online to customers?
Great question. So the best channel is anywhere that your customers are shopping. So I think that it can be easy to get lost in one in particular, but again, if your customers are all on Instagram and there's no way for them to access or get visibility to your products there, they're going to find someone else who is creating that access to them, right? So I think, again, really understanding who you're selling to, understanding your demographic. Not all verticals are going to perform the same on every single channel, right? We see a lot of beauty brands and cosmetic brands that blow up on platforms like TikTok, these small businesses, because people all of a sudden now aren't buying from a store or a company. They're buying from somebody that looks just like them, right? So figure out, again, who your target market is, figure out where they shop, and be prepared to pivot and adjust as your demographic grows, especially if you want that loyalty long term, right? Like, I mean, I remember buying things off of, like, remember when eBay was a thing? It's like, and that seems so antiquated now, but it's still a very relevant thing for certain industries, right? So just understand your market, see what other brands similar to you are doing, and of course, that's the first step, but get creative with it, right? I think that also, too, this question of, do I need a brick and mortar retail store in order to stay relevant or whatever? Well, again, you're the one that will understand this as you start to understand your customer base a little bit better. But I really love the idea of experiential brands. Again, if you can sell like a lifestyle or an experience or an idea, I think this is what keeps people captivated. They're not just buying a lipstick, they're buying, this image or like whatever it is, right? They're not buying this food, they're buying this like umami or like however they position it, right? So you're not just selling the product, but whatever it is that you're selling, you've got to be wherever your customer base is. So figuring that out first is the most important thing. And, your customers will tell you where they're shopping, right? So things, platforms like Shopify, Rebuy, any of these tech integrations now are becoming so much more than just the solutions that they offer. They're offering you first-party data about your customers' behavior, right? How long are they staying on your website? At what point are they bouncing off of your website? And what can we do to kind of like close the gap in between those things? So yeah, really listen to your customers. I feel like they give you all the answers that you need, but we're so focused on what the other brand is doing, who's wearing what, that we start to get lost in that. And the customers are like, I'm waiting to buy something from you, but I can't find you anywhere, right? So yeah, definitely understand your customers, and the rest will kind of open up to you for sure. Yeah.
For sure. No, but just curious, and I'm sure that our audience is very curious too. Like, has the rise in e-commerce significantly impacted the retail side of things, the retail in-person shopping?
No, if anything, I find that it's made in-person retail more innovative.
Okay.
Because again, I can buy anything I want sitting on this couch right now with my phone.
True.
But people want that experience. There's that nostalgia. There's something about the catharsis of going through a store and discovering products that are just for you. You got a sales advisor if you want it. I think about Sephora all the time. People just go in there just to walk around and hang out because it's this like sensory experience. You can try the products. You can get your makeup done. You can smell the fragrances. You can try the lotions. It's like, you maybe walk in there because you see something in the window, you leave spending $200. Like, what just happened? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think in-person retail is essential for us to continue to want to try brands from online, right? It's like they kind of complement each other really well. Do I think that in-person retail is necessary for every single brand? No, not necessarily. But I think, again, there's a nice balance between understanding your product and how it's best received, right? It's going to be very hard to sell a fragrance no one's ever smelled before if it's just online, just by describing it, right? So yeah, I think, definitely test things out. I mean, there's no one right answer, but if you're going to do it, be intentional with what you're doing. It's not just about having four walls and a bunch of products anymore. It's like, give people a reason to want to come into your store. And after they leave your store, give them a reason to want to shop with you again, whether that's online, on Instagram, or in person.
No, you're right. I mean, the retail industry is going through rapid transformation, and it is particularly because of the contributing, technological changes and changing customer expectations. Now, on that note,
I call it the retail renaissance.
Retail renaissance, yeah, for sure. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, is in-person retail dead? Or is there still a place for it in this digital age?
Yeah, so to go back to that, I think, again, retail as we knew it, I think is dead. The old way of just like, fluorescent lighting and a bunch of clothes on racks that you have to sift through, it's like, that is not exciting anymore. I mean, Don't get me wrong. There's like thrifting, which is like its own adventure, right? But like when you go into a store with like just, fast fashion, it's like, give me something to be excited about. You know what I mean? I'm willing to spend more money on a product if it gives me a feeling of, I know that this is an ethical brand. I know this is an ethical business. I love what they're doing. I love the way that I feel when I go in there. I love the experience that they provide. This is all part of what we buy into. It's the same reason why people go to one restaurant over another. Of course, there's different cuisines, but I mean, we live in Toronto. There are thousands and thousands of restaurants. Why are some so busy and some aren't? It's the experience that they provide. And I think that experience starts from the second you see the restaurant from outside to right when you walk out after your meal. So it's the entire experience as a whole. So yeah, no, I don't think it's dead. I just think that it needs to be rethought. And this is what I mean when I say retail renaissance. It's like, it's here and it's more important than ever in terms of relevancy, but you can't do it the way that we were doing it before. It won't work that way. So with that, I think that, retail in person, online, the broader term is omni-channel. Create an experience that's accessible anywhere, whether that's in-store, online, and treat your online store just like you would merchandise an in-person store. How easy is it to navigate? How easy is it to shop? How easy is it to find products? And Rebuy, actually, this is one of the products that we just launched, was our Smart Search product. And again, another great way to gain insight on your customers, because that search bar very often is just there, but no one really pays attention to it. This is an area for you to understand, what are your customers searching for? You can take that insight and re-merchandise your products completely. If you know that 800 people are searching for the same product but can't find it, how can we get those search results, more kind of level to, the sales that you're making? So yeah, I think that again, retail is being reinvented. So that includes in-person, online,
everything.
Yeah.
Right. And then now that we've discussed the future of retail, let's help our traditional retailers out here, right? How can they remain competitive in this ever-evolving digital age?
Yeah. Ask your customers. Literally. There are a few companies like SendLane where you can basically, after your customer checks out online, ask them, what brought you to our store in the first place? Give them 3 options and watch how quickly you will get data right from customers that are checking out already. So these are your customers that have already converted. Those are the people you want to talk to, right? You can get a lot of insight from your customer behavior by looking at bounce rates and things like that. But ask the people who are supporting your business already, regardless of how big you are, right? It's like, I think we see this all the time. They're like, oh, if you look at the bottom of the receipt and you go and do this survey, you can get $10 off. That's them doing that. And you'd be surprised the number of people that participate in that. And that's what keeps these people, I don't want to say gives them a competitive edge. There's no competition because they understand their customers. And with that, the customers come back and they can kind of see that feedback being well received. And that makes the customer feel appreciated, right? So it doesn't matter how big or small you are. Again, I cannot emphasize enough. I think people are like scared to interact with their customers, or it's this like, I got to get the data, but I got to get it sneaky. It's like, just ask them, right? So we see a lot now of brands doing a lot of experiential marketing events where, they're standing outside of Trinity Bellwoods Park in Toronto and they're handing out samples of products. That's first party data. Try it. How does it taste? How do you like it, right? Here's a coupon for $5 off your next one. It's like, okay, wow. So it's like, how can you stand out? I think, again, like the sky is the limit, but your customers will tell you. So figure out your brand identity, figure out who your customer base is, and then, go from there. It sounds so easy, but...
You do, but you also make it sound so interesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, the perspectives that you've shared on the future of retail, and especially your insights, are quite invaluable for people that are still navigating between these realms of, the digital shift plus the changing consumer expectations.
Sure.
Now, as we wrap up, Rich, could you share a success story from your recent work, perhaps with the Smart Search product and its impact on clients' business?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So just Rebuy as a whole, joining this company has been an absolute treat, I have to say, because, working in any sort of customer service or client facing role with a product that, isn't the greatest can oftentimes be very difficult. Just like selling a product that's not great and all of a sudden the customers are coming back to you asking for refunds. I don't find that I've had that problem much with Rebuy. And again, like, I'm not being chained right now. Like, I'm saying this on my own free will. I believe in the power of what Rebuy has done because I've seen the way that it's transformed businesses in just, a quick product ad here, a post-purchase ad here. So, we've seen, and to go back to that Emmy Eats, I don't know the exact number, but they were able to cut the cost of their tech stack by almost 40 to 45% just by consolidating a lot of these separate components that they were using, to add, let's say, customer email capture, post-purchase offer, bundle solution. All of these were separate apps that they had to use before, but Rebuy has found a way to centralize all of these into one platform, all centered around personalization, all centered around, obviously increased average order values, increased conversion. So we learn from our customers. We work with them directly. We ask them what's working, what's not working, what do you want? And we build accordingly. So the reason why I have this advice is because I experienced this with the company that I work for and I see how well received it is. So yeah, in terms of that, I just think the success story really is just Rebuy in general and seeing what it's been able to do for so many brands. And I think the barrier to entry before Shopify for a lot of people was, well, I don't have the capital to open up a brick and mortar store. Now you have these thought leaders who have ideas. And if you've got $30 or $40 to start a simple online store, you can sell a couple products in your neighborhood and make it easy for them to buy it. So there's something very special about that this access to entrepreneurship has never been more attainable. So, like I said, you don't have to try and become one of these big box stores. You can thrive in your own little niche. You just got to figure out what that is and who that is, right? So yeah, the success story really for me has been just getting to work with a company that exposes me to all of these success stories with brands that are just starting out and all the way up to large enterprise brands, and they are equally able to find the same success. So yeah, it's really
We
cool.
love the work that you're doing, and we wish you and Rebuy both continued
Thank you.
success.
Yeah,
But thank you so much, Rich, for being here
of
and
course.
for sharing such insightful and practical advice on personalization, brand strategy, and growth. I'm sure that our audience will find this as gold
Sure.
in terms of navigating, again, the digital age. So again, thank you so much for your
Of
time.
course. And also, just as a quick note, I've included, just for all of your audience as well, a link to get in touch with myself and to get in touch with Rebuy also. So if you are interested in learning more, we've got a whole team of people that are waiting to talk to you. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And that was the end of our discussion with Rich Matukaitis, to whom we'd like to extend our gratitude to. And we'd also like to extend our thanks to our Symphony partners, our exclusive banking partner RBC, shipping partner UPS, exclusive accounting software partner Xero, and email partner Constant Contact. To our audience, please don't forget to subscribe to the Canadian SME Small Business Magazine by visiting our website, CanadianSME.ca, for more enriching episodes. And until next time, keep innovating and keep pushing your business to new heights.